Question 2 on probability. This is probability operations. The complement of an event is the probability that the event does not occur. So the way we find that is we subtract the probability that it does from 1. And you might see this probability of E with an exponent C. That just means probability of E complement. And this is how you would get it. So for example, if you pull a random card from a standard 52 card deck of cards, what is the probability that you do not draw a heart? So start with the probability that you do draw a heart. There's 13 hearts because there's 13 of every suit, and subtract that from 1. So you can put that in your calculator and you should get 39 over 52, or 0.75 is the probability. Yeah, because there's 4 suits and there's an equal amount of each one. So there's basically a 25% chance of getting any one suit. So the opposite of that would be 75% chance. You have a much better chance of not getting the suit than you do of getting the suit. According to the weather forecast, there's a 73% chance of rain tomorrow. What is the probability that it doesn't rain? So since it's in percent, I'm going to do 100% minus 73%, which is 27% chance that it will not rain. Okay, part 2 is mutually exclusive events and calculating probabilities with those. So 2 or more events are mutually exclusive if they cannot occur at the same time. If the events can occur at the time, they are not mutually exclusive. So for example, 1, we just want to determine if they're mutually exclusive or not. So basically you ask yourself, can both things happen at the same time? Drawing a single card and getting a king and a queen. That would be mutually exclusive because a card can't be both. Being a student and working full-time, that is not mutually exclusive because some students work full-time. In other words, these 2 things can happen at the same time, so they're not mutually exclusive. Flipping a coin and landing on heads and tails, that's impossible, so yes, it's one or the other. Owning a single pet that is a cat and a dog, again, you have one or the other, so those are mutually exclusive. If it were worded slightly different, if it was like owning 2 pets and one of them is a dog, one of them is a cat, it's like being a student working full-time. Like you could have a cat and a dog, but if you have one pet, it's either one or the other. So that word single is the big determinant there. Drawing a single and getting a jack and a red card. I think that's supposed to be draw a single card and getting a jack and a red card. No, because it could be both, right? So a card can be a jack of hearts, which is red, or a jack of diamonds, which is also red. So those would not be mutually exclusive. Hopefully, with those examples, you're getting the hang of it, what's mutually exclusive, what's not. Just ask yourself, can it be both at the same time? If yes, it's not mutually exclusive. If no, then it is. So when probabilities are mutually exclusive, then if you're asked what's the probability of this happening or this happening, you can actually use this formula to add those probabilities up, but only if they are mutually exclusive. Oops, that was supposed to be a highlighter. So, for example, you roll a standard 6-sided die. What is the probability you roll a 2 or a 4? So your probability of rolling a 2 is 1 out of 6. Probability of rolling a 4 is 1 out of 6. So you get 2 out of 6 or 1/3 or 0.3 repeating. Those are mutually exclusive. It can't be a 2 and a 4 at the same time. It's one or the other. A library has books in 3 different sections: adult fiction, children's fiction, and nonfiction. 42% of the books are adult fiction, 23 are children's, and the rest are fiction. What is the probability of randomly selecting a nonfiction book? So we weren't given the probability, but if all the books have to fall under one of those categories, then I can just subtract 42% and 23% from 100 and get 35%. And then what's the probability of randomly selecting a children's book or a nonfiction? Again, it can't be both at the same time because it's children's fiction. So we could do 23% plus 35%, which is 58%.